Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with my first layout for the May Cheeky Studio Design Team Kit. I grabbed a few pattern papers from my stash. I got a cup. The background is from Pink Paisley Memorandum, and the other two, which I believe I only end up using one, or maybe I used both. I can't remember. I did this layout an hour ago and I don't remember. I think I used both. Are from an older collection from Heidi Swap. So this is a picture that I took about a month ago, and it was at one of the crops that we went to. And like 2 years ago I did a layout and I mentioned that, you know, I'm from this city in New Brunswick called Bathurst, and once I moved to where I am now, you know, I met some people through scrapbooking and stuff, and lo and behold, like there's these 4 ladies that I met that we grew up in the same city. We didn't know each other, and through scrapbooking we met, and now, you know, when we go to crops, we go quite frequently to the same crops. And so when we were there, my friend Karen, which she's from that same city, she said, "Oh, do you remember you wanted to do that?" And I said, "Yes, I totally forgot." So there was a whiteboard behind us, so I just wrote the words "Bathurst Girls Rock," and then we got somebody else to take pictures of us. So I wanted to document that because it's pretty cool that, you know, we lived in the same city and we didn't know each other, and then we moved to a totally new city, which is about 2.5 hours from the original city, and now we all know each other. Okay, so now let's talk about this layout. Now the die cut packs is from Cheeky Studio, like I said, and it's called Midnight Florals, and it is the die cut package or ephemera pack that I got for the month of May, and I absolutely loved it. And one of the things that I loved the most was that 4x6 card, and it has sort of like you know, florals kind of exploding out of that label in the middle, and I thought that's the perfect place to put either a title, your journaling, and I'm going to end up putting the year instead. But it was a perfect place to kind of be the focus, to help with the focus of the layout. So my photo is 4x4. I cut down the card just a little bit so that it would be the same size as my photo, because I print my photo on my Canon Selfie. It's a little smaller than 4 inches, so I just cut down the card so it matched that. Then I mounted it on that navy pattern paper from Heidi Swap, and then a little bigger from that I mounted another pattern paper. But first, the first thing I did was I took some clear gesso and I prepped my background. And the reason I do that is because pattern paper, if you put too much liquid on it, it can break it down. It can warp, and, you know, too much water, it would be, you could even like wear it down. This paper is a little thicker, so I would have to put quite a bit of water, but it's a good idea to put some gesso so it acts like a barrier and protects your paper. So once that dried, I used my heat tool and I dried that up. I used the shimmers sprays that I got in my design team package, and if you go on my YouTube channel, I have a hauling, you know, everything that I got in my May Design Team Kit. So if you want all the names and all of that, go check out that video and you'll have all the information for that. I believe one of them was called Heidi Ho Blue, and then the other one something pink. And it couldn't have matched better, this collection. Tuesday did an awesome job matching the collection with the sprays. You know, the sprays to the collection, it matched up perfectly. Now I did bring in one other color because in some of the sprigs, in some of the, you know, clusters, there was some green foliage, so I wanted to bring in some green. So I went into my stash and found Mr. Huey's mist in green, and I added some green to, you know, the background also. Then I started working on my embellishment cluster, and one thing that I absolutely love in this month's kit is that I have my embellishment there's some embellishment foundation. And what I mean by that, there's like little labels and circles and little fancy labels, and I cut those usually in half, and I use them in more than one area, but then it gives me something to start building my embellishment cluster. And I also love that there's little foliage and that I can put in behind the flowers. Now, in this case, I decided to use the flare badges more than I did the die cuts. With the die cuts, I added some, like I said, some foliage in behind, and I really liked how that turned out. I was thinking of maybe using that wood veneer, but I decided to keep it for a page with Mason because it says happy as a lark, and I know exactly which page that I want to use it. Now, I also got some sequins in my Made Design Team package, and I'm going to use some glue dots, and I'm going to add a few sequins around the layout. Okay, so all my clusters are done. So the next thing I want to focus on is my title, and I went to get these. They're kind of foamy, enamel-y. They're not foam, they're more like enamel, and they're a fancy pants, almost like thickers, and I absolutely love them. As you can tell, I've used them quite a bit. There's a lot of letters I didn't have, but I just kind of MacGyvered it. I took an 8 to make an S, and then I took a J to make a T because I was kind of missing, and then for an L, I didn't have an L, so I just gonna take a 7, and because they're kind of enamel-y, rubbery, I was able to kind of, when I glued it down, to kind of stretch it so that it looks like an L and not a 7. So I was happy that I was able to get another full, pretty, big title on my layout. So I just cut out me gluing that down because that took me a good 10 minutes to glue that down using some wet glue. And then I went back again with the mist and added some mist, and that's going to complete my layout. So in the description box below, I'll have all the information on Cheeky.studio, their Facebook group, the website. And if you use Nicole Jones 911 on your first order, you'll get 10% off. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, and maybe leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.